Greetings and salutations. I'm the Adjutant. The other day I received a message from a viewer, and they wanted to know if there was anything I would do differently after having served over 26 years in the military. And so what I did, I thought about that, and it made me do some reflection that I haven't actually reflected on in quite some time. And so I would like to respond to that viewer by answering their question. If I could start my military career all over again with everything that I know now, there are several things that I would absolutely do differently. Not because the military failed me in any way, but because I didn't understand the long game early enough. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the biggest lessons I learned career-wise, financially, personally, so you don't have to figure it out the hard way. If you're early in your career, this video could actually save you years. And if you're mid-career, it could save you money. And if you're retired or close to retirement, you're probably going to nod along the whole time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Well, the first thing I would have done is I would have certainly treated my career like a business. Early on, I thought hard work alone was enough. You just show up, you do your job, you be reliable. That matters, but it's not the whole picture. If I were starting over again, I would treat my military career like a business partnership, if you will. I'd ask questions like, what skills am I building? How does this assignment, help me long term? What does this promotion unlock financially over decades, not just months? I would have been more intentional about assignments, timing, positioning, instead of just assuming everything would just kind of work itself out, because it doesn't always do that unless, of course, you plan. Another thing I would have done is I would have understood money much earlier. Now, this is a big one, folks. I didn't fully understand total military compensation early in my career. Base pay is only part of the picture. If I were starting all over again, for example, I'd learn how allowances really work, how tax advantages compound, how promotions change lifetime earnings, how retirement math works before year 10 and not at year 18. I'd also stop thinking short term, not can I afford this right now, but what does this decision cost me in 10, 20, or 30 years? Money mistakes early feel small, you'll notice, but later they can get very expensive because they just compound over and over on top of each other. I would have also taken retirement seriously from day one. I used to think retirement was something you worry about later in your career. Well, you know what? That's just wrong. If I were starting over, I would treat retirement like a mandatory mission, not just an operational briefing. I'd understand the differences between the systems, how early contributions matter, why consistency beats timing, how rank and longevity compound together. The earlier you understand retirement, the less stressful every career decision becomes. Another thing I would do is I would have asked better questions, and I would have done it sooner. There were things that I just didn't know because I didn't know what to ask, quite frankly. And if I could do it again, I'd ask more questions. I'd ask questions about pay, about benefits, about policies, about long-term consequences. And I absolutely wouldn't be, I laugh now, but I certainly wouldn't be embarrassed about asking these questions. This whole military system is complex, and nobody hands you the manual to fully understand it. The service member who asks questions early, this is something you need to understand, usually makes fewer painful discoveries later on down in their career. Another thing I would have done is I would have protected my health and time more. Now, to me, this is personal. I've gained as much as I've weighed in. My highest outside of the military, and maybe even in the military for a short period of time, was over 300 pounds. You see, early in my career, I treated my time and health as unlimited. It's just not. They're not. If I were starting over again, I'd take injuries seriously. I would document everything properly, because one thing you'll want to do, you don't want to have happen, is if you injure yourself in the military and you're just too proud to go and see a doctor, and years later after you get out, you want to be compensated for those injuries, and you don't want to have the VA say, well, hey, we don't have a record of you injuring yourself in the military, so you're going to be denied this disability. You know, that is something that if I would have absolutely done earlier, and that was document everything properly. I would also respect rest and recovery. You know, a lot of times when you're young, you think that you're invincible, but everyone needs rest and recovery. And I would also understand that burnout doesn't make you stronger. So a lot of people feel that, you know, you just work out, and then all of a sudden you achieve burnout. That absolutely doesn't make you stronger. The mission matters, you have to understand, but so do you. And the military will keep moving forward whether you take care of yourself or not. So, you know, if you ever think you're too valuable, see what happens when you're no longer on this earth. The machine is just going to keep going. Let's see. Another thing that I would have done, I would have thought beyond the uniform earlier. What does that mean? Well, I absolutely love my career. I've accomplished many things in life. I went to law school, became a college professor. I taught business law and business ethics, traveled around the world, business, a lot of stuff. But I absolutely love my career. But I didn't always think beyond it. If I could start over again, I'd prepare earlier for transition options, transferable skills. You know, you're going to get a lot of skills while you're in the military. Life after military in general. Identity beyond rank. You know, oftentimes you see people that they just can't hang up the uniform. I've had people tell me, they argued with me, you've never spent a day in your life in the military, you know, because I retired rather young, did a lot, and they told me I was just never in the military. And that's something that's easy for me to move on from the standpoint that it was, my rank was not my identity in who I am. I'm more than just a captain or a sergeant. I was both. I was what they refer to as a Mustang, enlisted an officer. Okay. Anyway, so to be clear, my identity is beyond and more than just my rank. Not because I plan to leave early, but because being prepared gives you leverage and peace of mind. So you always want to think forward thinking. So if I could sum everything up with just one sentence, I wouldn't change serving whatsoever, but I would change how early I understood the system. So if this video has helped you, go ahead and share it with someone who's just starting out. And if you're already deep into your career, use what you know to help the next one behind you. This is how it works. Now, before I wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Information only matters if you understand it, and understanding gives you options, whether we're talking about military, pay, benefits, or just bigger life decisions. The goal here is always the same: clarity over confusion. Too many people move through systems they don't fully understand, and that costs them time, money, and peace of mind. My goal with this channel is to slow things down, break things apart, and give you the context you need to make better decisions in your life. You don't have to know everything, you just have to know enough to ask the right questions, because that's where real leverage starts. Now again, if this video has helped you, hit the like button so it reaches the people who need it, and subscribe if you want clear, straightforward breakdowns without all the noise. I read the comments, I pay attention to what you want covered next. I treat this channel like a conversation and certainly not a lecture. Remember this, folks, your time matters, your decisions matter, and understanding the systems you're operating in matters more than most people realize. Stay informed, stay intentional. I wish you blessings and blessings. I am the Adjutant, and I'll see you in the next one. Shalom.